Hi, everybody. This is Adam Elenbaas from Nightlight Astrology, and these are your Sun and Rising sign horoscopes for the month of June 2019. And this one is for Taurus, Taurus Sun or Taurus Rising. I'm going to try to do these in under 5 minutes this month. The reason being, I had a professional astrology conference at the end of May that took up a lot of my time in preparation last month. So these are coming in kind of down to the wire here. I'm going to try to make them a little bit more general and a little shorter this month, but I promise for eclipse season next month we'll be back to a little bit longer coverage. So at any rate, let's get into it. The big transit this month for everyone is a long, slow burn from Mars in Cancer. In this case, opposing Saturn and Pluto in your ninth house. Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn in the ninth, Mars in Cancer in the third. Mars is in its fall right now. This is a house that has a lot to do with domestic duties and responsibilities, the loyalty that we have to siblings, neighbors, the things happening in our immediate environment. And then the ninth house, which has a lot to do with higher beliefs, the kind of higher laws and higher principles that we live by or that govern us somehow. There may be some kind of ideological, moral, ethical conflict that you're dealing with this month that could be quite pronounced. On the other hand, you could also be going through a time of really working through some doubts or a bit of a crisis of faith or belief. You could also be, if you have siblings or neighbors, sometimes there's some intense things going on there. It's also a good time for learning or breakthroughs with regard to learning that, may be more emotional or may require more of you because, Mars, let's face it, Mars in Cancer can be very emotionally sort of provoking. And with the oppositions of Saturn and Pluto across this axis, mind and emotions and some kind of transformational process is probably indicated here. Now, the other thing that's happening this month that's huge, and that's happening, by the way, between the 13th of the month all the way through the 21st, the summer solstice. So it's and it starts off at the beginning of the month. It's already engaging. It's long, it's slow, it's intense, and everyone's going to be dealing with this one. I hate to say it, but I'm sure we're going to see some really provocative stuff in the headlines. It's probably pretty, difficult with Mars opposite Saturn and Pluto. Potentially themes of like advocating for those who are weak or needy, kind of a mama bear energy in the air this month a little bit. That might be an upside, but otherwise it has the potential to be a little explosive and volatile with Mars opposite Pluto. Transformational, yes. Explosive, yeah. So watch for that. The other thing that's happening is a series of T-squares, and these last all month long, as early as the new moon in your second house of income and expenditures at the beginning of the month, through the full moon on the 17th. The sun will be lighting up this T-square between Jupiter, Neptune, and new moon, and the sun and Venus, a bunch of planets in Gemini coming through and making the T-square to Jupiter and Neptune. So what is this one all about? Well, 2nd, 8th, and 11th houses are being highlighted. These are houses that have a lot to do with your assets and resources. The 11th, friends, people that you rely on, colleagues, groups of people that you consider your allies or support of some kind. 2nd, literal, financial, or material assets, income, also expenditures. The 8th house has a lot to do with spouse or partner's income, money, expenditures. And then the 8th house could also have something to do with things like death and loss and fear and certain kinds of penalties, or even the desire to try to get ahead by doing things that are a little shady. That's very 8th house, traditionally speaking. So this T-square all month long is sort of, churning and burning and really saying what kinds of resources and people do you value, and which are using you, or which are you trying to use to get ahead. You want to be really careful about that. And you also want to be careful about, this could be a time where there is real growth or themes of growth and development really rapidly coming through financially, or in terms of, opportunities that you're getting, networking opportunities. Might be really nice, but it may also cause you to reflect on your values. Like, where are you willing to compromise and where are you not willing to compromise philosophically or ethically or spiritually? But I think the potential for gain is there this month. In different forms from people, and maybe financially or in like business sense, in a business sense. But again, I would say that some degree of transforming circumstances, some degree of uncertainty, issues around debt and things that you may have to pay for that come along, and also questions about ethics. What is and is not a good deal or a good bargain or a good compromise, especially when I'm trying to get something done or cultivate some kind of resource or asset. So those are big questions that I have for Tauruses this month based on those T-squares that really go through the whole month. So when you look at that back to back, you've got the Mars signature opposing Pluto. That's intense. And then these T-squares. That's really the story of the month. There are a few other more minute transits that I'm not focusing on. I'm keeping it short and sweet. I'd love to hear from Tauruses, hear how it goes. I'm a Taurus rising, so we'll see what this indicates for me too. All right. We'll see you next month for eclipse season. I promise it'll be a little bit longer and more thorough then. All right. Take care. Bye.